Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mondoid, your one-stop shop for all things Project Zomboid. And this week, Cat, who doesn't want to be on my lap, say hi, everybody. Say hi. See, oh, can I get kisses? Oh, that's awkward. Anyway, welcome to Mondoid, as I said, and this week, we have something a little bit shorter, but something that I'm happy that has been put up on the blog, and it's going to alleviate a lot of questions that have been directed at me over the past few days. Lately, everybody's been asking me, Mathis, how do I get my Project Zomboid on Steam? Is it available to purchase? How do I get it? Where's the link? How much do I have to pay? Do I have to own the game already? Listen, I'll tell you this. One, it's not an early access, so you can't buy it on Steam. But if you already own the game, be it Desura or Google Checkout or PayPal or whatever you use and you own the game, there is a way for you to get a Steam key. Go to this blog right here. I'm looking at it. It's called Steam Keys Available to All Customers. You go here, and it tells you how to get your key. It has it set up in separate little paragraphs, look, right here, of different ways to get your key depending on how you purchased it. So no more questions. Don't ask me anymore. I don't want to answer it. I'm done. Stop it. Just stop. Figure it out. I'm done. Outside of that, there's 3 topics they decide to focus on in this particular blog, and that is what we'll go over them one by one instead of listing them like I was about to do. The first one is Zoom. It's the return of a feature a lot of people have been kind of asking for. It is the Zoom feature. If you remember in the demo or in the D version, or the really early versions, there was a little thing you could click in the bottom right of the screen. Actually, it'd be over here. You could click on it, and it would just zoom in on the game like ×2 or ×3 or whatever it was, and you could be really close. People really liked it. It added for a sense of immersion that people, I think, really enjoyed. You got to see some of the character models real close up. Whatever, people seem to like it. It didn't serve a huge practical purpose, but people seemed to like it because they got to see the environments up close, etc. Well, the Zoom feature has returned, and it actually has a practical purpose outside of its usual, and it's been implemented in a slightly different way than before. So you can basically do 2 things with the Zoom feature. One, you can play the game at ×2 zoom at all times. The option is there in the options menu if that's what you want to do. Or you could do 2, the way I like to do it, which is kind of a bit more cinematic flair, is every time you enter a building, the game automatically zooms in. Now, the zoom speed can be manually adjusted depending on your liking, but what this is going to allow is not only a more close-up look at the buildings themselves, but it adds a layer and a level of practicality and usefulness that it didn't before. As you all know, when I play, I have kind of a hard time with some houses trying to click on what I want. The faucet, if it might be, part of a larger cabinet system, and I might accidentally click on those. If it's close to a window, I'll have a hard time clicking on the actual faucet and not the window. Sometimes it'll be next to a toilet, and I'm clicking on the toilet instead of the faucet. It can add all kinds of interesting and claustrophobic situations. That helps alleviate it. The zoom in feature makes those icons bigger, so clicking on them is a lot easier. And being able to click on them and not fumble and trying to figure out what you're getting into is a welcome change to the indoor aspect of gameplay. On top of it, it allows for being able to explore the house and not feel like it's so tight, and maybe fighting zombies, being able to walk into a room and see zombies a bit quicker. Just open a level or feeling, a better feeling of openness, if I could speak correctly, is there. So I really do like that, and I'm glad the zoom feature is back. On top of that, they've revamped the combat controls. Maybe revamped's the wrong word. They have switched up or added a new option for combat controls. Essentially, they're trying to make combat a little bit simpler for newer players. It's the same thing. I don't want to say simpler. More intuitive. More intuitive is a better word. They're trying to make it more intuitive because people have complained they can't figure out combat, they don't get how it works, etc., etc. And I can understand that gripe. I mean, I don't want to say the combat is incredibly difficult or complicated or complex. It's not. It has a layer or a level of nuance to it, sure, but it is definitely not a complex game by any stretch of the imagination, or a complex combat system, not a complex game. I'm having problems with my words today for some reason. But with that, instead of just having to hold down control and swing, you can now right click and swing. It's a different. You can right click then left click. If you like the control swing, it's still there. You can still do that, but it is now an additional option for those who don't quite get it, which is always good. But perhaps the final and most important feature to see a return and a reintroduction to the game is the option of fire. Something they were like, it's coming, like 4 or 5 months ago is now in the game. This actually does change gameplay ever so slightly. It adds Molotovs back to the game, which is good. Burning hordes of zombies is important, but the reason I say it changes the game ever so slightly is because when fire was in the game originally, it was just something fun you could do as an option for combat. It helped kill a horde of zombies, which is still useful, but there weren't alarms in the game at that point. Now, if you open up a house or break into a house that was locked or whatever, or it potentially has an alarm can go off and attract a huge horde. What that means is now you can, if you set off an alarm and you attract a huge horde, you can run over to the oven, turn on the oven, leave it alone, run and leave the house. If you do that, you can set the house on fire, and zombies are going to walk off to that house and potentially catch fire, and you could potentially wipe out a huge horde by setting fire to a house that has an alarm going to it. Think about it. It's basically a noise trap. They're going to walk over to it. The house is going to catch fire. They're all going to burn and die. You're going to take care of a ton of zombies that are potentially near you. So that's kind of cool. I like that a lot. Other than that, that's about it for the blog. Not much to talk about outside of it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I always tend to when I do these things. And if you liked it, hit that like button. If you want to subscribe, feel free to click that subscribe and join the horde. Other than that, I will see you all next time.